All right, this is episode 2 with my health coach, Ron Oliver. And this one's going to be a little more detailed on what you can do to help yourself. So, Ron, let's jump right in. What is it that you are going to share with us today?
Right off the bat, real simple. What you want to do is think back if it didn't exist a couple hundred years ago as a drink or a food, don't drink and don't eat it. Right off the bat, you got to get right into the simple truth about drinking and eating. You want to start changing your health because we are what we drink and eat. Our whole entire body is made up of everything we drink and eat. And the decline of health in America, which is at a disastrous level, has got everything to do with what we drink and eat. And that is not just about your physical health and your body weight, your body composition, your strength, your energy. It's got everything to do with mental health. And what we need people to understand is that life is not a sprint, it's an endurance race. And it's full of ups and downs, trials and tribulations. And if you don't have a strong, fit body, you're not going to have a strong, fit mind. It's just impossible. If you don't have a strong, fit body and a strong, fit mind, you're not going to have a strong, fit spirit. And so you're going to find life overwhelming because what you're drinking and eating is greatly affecting your mental health. Even the mood you're in right now is affected by what you're drinking and eating because that's affecting how you think. And it has everything to do with your hormones, the biochemistry, the chemical balance in your brain and body, the balance of good bacteria versus bad bacteria in your gut, and your cellular energy. So this is very, very important that people understand that health is not about genetics. It's not about, oh, my grandfather and my father had diabetes, so I'm going to get diabetes. That's nonsense. It's called lifestyle diseases, family recipes, poor stress management skills that we learned from our parents, and fattening foods and all of that stuff, toxic foods.
Yep,
We are what we drink and we eat, and we are what we think, and the way we speak is coming from our minds, right?
yep,
So if we change what we're thinking about drinking and eating, we can change our lives. This will greatly change your attitude. Look at how much it's changed your life.
yeah, it has. And, you know, before I started working with you, if I would have heard what you just said, I would have been like, yeah, okay, whatever. But after working with you and you got me eating healthy, drinking healthy, and, yeah, taking care of my body, my mind is clear. Like, I don't have the,
Absolutely.
brain fog, I can think fast, I'm more, creative now, I have more energy, it's just amazing. And like I shared in the last episode, I did your way for a while, and then I went back to my old ways, and guess what happened?
Naughty boy.
Yeah, I felt like shit. So now we're back to Ron's way because Ron's way works.
Well, and it's just the way we are designed. Guys, we're organic beings, right? There is no day in history when our bodies are going to adapt to eating genetically modified food and processed garbage passed off as food. Frankenfood, I call it. It's like Frankenstein. Ladies, do you want a real man or do you want some kind of Frankenstein monster for a husband? Obviously not. You don't want to eat fake food, you know? And let's get into the real crisis in America right now and Canada. We have a testosterone crisis in America and Canada amongst men. It's actually a global issue. But there is no place on earth that has lower testosterone than in Canada and the United States right now. It is a disaster. And this is not just about libido and muscle mass or bone density. For example, guys that have low testosterone have a much higher risk of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. And also, it gives you an 88% increase in mortality rate. It's a disaster for a man. It also affects the man's ambition, his determination, his ability to be driven, to protect and to provide, this is a problem that men need to take seriously because it's greatly affecting not only our lives as men, but it's affecting our families. It's affecting our society. You know, I'm old school. I'm 58 years old, and the way I think is old school, and I'm never going to change it. A man is supposed to be a protector and a provider for his family. That's just how I see it. And I know a lot of guys think that way. But in this modern world, you have men with testosterone levels, they're like a quarter or a third of what they're supposed to be. And I've looked at the global testosterone crisis, and you cannot find a country that has lower testosterone than Canadians and Americans. And it's at an all-time low. It's never been this low in the history of man. That's very troubling. And this is affecting our entire nations. And so, that being said, I've been helping men with this problem for 30 years. I've been in the business 35 years, but it was 30 years ago when I met my brilliant mentor, this incredible doctor, biochemist, and master formulator of supplementation to assist people to detoxify the body, eliminate nutritional deficiencies, and achieve optimal health and fitness. Now, I'm a guy who's spent over $500,000 on nutraceuticals, enzymes, probiotics, things of that nature that were made by the best formulators on earth to take my health to the optimal level. I haven't been sick in 30 years. And just about 3 months ago, I came across a new company, to me, not new company. It's been in business 25 years. It's veteran owned. It's a family company. They are phenomenal. And they have made the most powerful supplements of their kind on earth that I've ever come across my entire life. In fact, I've never taken any supplements that made me feel better than this or gave me a more radical result in such a short amount of time.
Mhm.
And what's beautiful about it is it comes from an absolute natural source and it absorbs under your tongue in seconds. So it doesn't matter how unhealthy you are, how toxic you might be, how old you might be. Just like alcohol, you're going to absorb it immediately. So therefore, it's going to work for everyone,
Mhm.
as opposed to a typical supplement that might be in a powder form. You make a drink out of it, or you put it in a capsule, a little vegetable capsule, and you swallow it. That's going to be only as good as your body's ability to absorb nutrients.
Mhm.
And you're never going to get 100% absorption, even if you're the healthiest man alive. But when you put something in a liquid form so it can go directly into your bloodstream under the tongue, it is the most superior way to deliver nutrients, molecules, compounds, minerals, whatever you have, into the bloodstream to give you immediate benefit. I felt it after seconds. Many of my clients experienced it after seconds. And I'm just going to be frank with everybody today. Do I have permission, even though I'm not bipolar and my name's Ron?
Yes.
Guys, let me just help you out, okay? The testicles are where testosterone is produced in a man's body, okay? And they're the only organs hanging outside the body, right? Now, in a woman, it's ovaries making estrogen. And that is incredibly important for women, just as testosterone is incredibly important for us men. Your pituitary, in both men and women, produces growth hormone. It's called HGH, human growth hormone. Now, what most people don't know is that growth hormone gets converted in the liver into IGF-1, growth factor. And that's actually what makes us grow like crazy when we're kids of all ages. We just grow and grow and grow like a weed. Okay, so growth hormone is very important, but it's not the growth hormone itself that makes us grow like crazy. It's actually the IGF-1. And so these supplements are all based upon the antler of a specific type of deer raised in New Zealand. And what they have found is that now this is 3,000 years old knowledge, okay? The Koreans, the Japanese, and the Chinese figured this out a long time ago just through observation. And modern man has figured it out through scientific, research. So we have found that the ingredients inside the antler, which they call antler velvet, are absolutely miraculous. The list of ingredients are amazing. And for anyone who's analytical, who wants to know everything about it like I do, I have a 20-page PDF that I can email you. You really need to read this. Even if you're not an avid reader, I encourage you to read this, man or woman, husband or wife. young or old, it doesn't matter. Read it. It will be fascinating to you. All of the incredible proven benefits. I've never seen anything this powerful in my life. And I've been on the products only for about 7.5 weeks. And I'm absolutely blown away how it's increased my ability to train harder, recover faster. I'm putting on lean muscle mass like never before in my life. At 58 years old, I'm all natural. I don't do drugs. I don't do testosterone, TRT, any of that stuff. I don't believe in it because I've been to drugs.com and many reputable sites. I've read all the side effects that come from drugs. I'm not interested in side effects. I want to be optimally healthy. I want to live as long as possible. I want to have a clear mind. I want to be strong and fit my whole life. And I'm going for a world record on how long I can live, brother. You know?
There you go.
So, what you can do is you go to and investigate. And if you decide you want to buy something, here's what I recommend. Put in the code Yerhart, just like Nick's last name, and you'll get 10% off. Now, I hope this next part don't get me in trouble. But if you go on the auto ship, which you can cancel at any time, you're going to get 50% off additional to the 10%. So your first order is like 60% off. And you're going to be blown away. I stake my reputation on it. And I've been doing this 35 years. I'm not about to recommend something if I don't know that I know that I know it's phenomenally beneficial and natural and healthy and no side effects.
Yep.
I've done some very deep diving on this, and it is phenomenal. I've actually partnered with the company because I'm so amazed by it. And I want every man and woman on earth who's over 20 to know about it because it is changing the life of everyone I love in my family, my clients. I've put my most famous clients on it, world champion athletes, all kinds of people. Everyone's raving about it. They've never experienced anything like it. You've been on the products for about a week now,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, and
What has happened for you?
I can vouch for it. This stuff works, and like you said, I've never taken anything that I felt as quickly as I did with this stuff. Like, I
Exactly.
just
Now, I've been giving you advice for a few years.
yeah,
Have I ever given you bad advice regarding what to drink and eat or take any supplements?
never, never.
Because I pride myself in being 100% accurate about everything I'm sharing with my clients and making sure, just like myself, I put only the purest, most potent, most bioavailable, most beneficial, and safe and effective natural products in our bodies because that's what I do for a living. My job is to advise people, to coach people, and help them achieve optimal results with their health and fitness, right? That's what I do. And I love what I do. But after seeing what this has done for me and my top clients, I got to share this with the world. That's why I called you up. I said, man, we haven't talked for a while, but hey, let me tell you something. And guys, I put on 15 pounds in the first month and I didn't change my diet. I didn't change my workouts. I did nothing but add these products to my protocol. And I went the other day to visit a buddy of mine who hasn't seen me for about a month and a half, basically since I started taking the products. And I got out of the truck to walk up towards him, and he was out of his business. He saw me, and he just said, "Holy F, what have you been doing?" He couldn't believe it. It is absolutely incredible. The bone density, muscle density, I can literally feel it just walking around. That my body has changed. It happens so fast, it's impossible not to notice. Plus, my energy, my mental clarity, my focus, my strength has gone through the roof. And I got to tell you this, brother. Every one of my clients been on the product for at least 2 to 3 weeks has told me that their testicles have literally grown larger, which is wild. Okay. Now, this is not because we're weird that we're talking about this, people. We got to get normal talking about things that matter.
Yeah,
Okay. When guys do steroids, when they take TRT and they take Viagra and Visalis because they have an issue with their testicles, it makes them shrink and it makes the problem worse. You might be eliminating the symptom because you're taking drugs, but it's a short-term gain, long-term pain. And if you go to drugs.com right now or any reputable site and you read the side effects that come from all these things that are being promoted and popular in this world by top podcasters and top doctors around the world, you're going to find out there's a long list of side effects you probably don't want. I refuse to put any of those things in my body. And in good conscience, as a health and fitness expert, I cannot recommend any of them because I've seen the disastrous consequences with athletes my whole life. They are destroying men's health. Testosterone replacement therapy, they call TRT. I wouldn't call it therapy. That's nonsense to me. And the growth hormone, synthetic growth hormone, even these peptides everybody's talking about lately. It's the new craze, right? Peptides. Every time you turn on the YouTube, peptides. Everybody's, flogging this stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't believe in injecting myself with testosterone or putting a cream on my body or taking a pill. Why? Because my body was designed to produce testosterone naturally. I don't even take peptides. Why? Because my body's supposed to extract peptides from whole foods that my body needs. Why would you want to put isolates in your body when your body's not made for isolates? It's made to take whole things that God gave us, consume them, put them in your body, and get the benefit, because your body was designed to extract these individual things from whole foods. Think about it. If you couldn't eat it 200 years ago, you couldn't drink it 200 years ago, probably not good for you. And 200 years ago, you couldn't take a pill, you couldn't inject yourself with something. It wasn't a possibility, right? And man today has become so unhealthy because we're going the wrong direction. How many times have we been told, trust the science? It's
Wow.
safe and effective. Well, they told us that about cigarettes, people.
Yep.
Cigarettes. It used to be recommended to pregnant women and nursing women to smoke cigarettes. And we were told it was safe and effective. Totally safe, no danger at all, no harm at all, people, and effective for reducing your stress and relaxing you. It's crazy. We've been hearing that the whole time. When most of the science has been bought and paid for by Big Pharma, I don't trust Big Pharma. Do you?
Hell no. No.
You know? So, guys and gals, the natural way is the best way. It doesn't always work the fastest, but it works for the longest, because you will live the longest if you get away from all these toxic modern day things that we've been told, we've been passed off as intelligent solutions. They're not. They are short-term gain, long-term pain, and the evidence is everywhere. Look at the bodybuilders dropping dead like flies in their 20s and 30s and 40s from heart attacks and aneurysms and all of this stuff because they're taking so many steroids. We got athletes, football players, soccer players dropping dead on the fields like never before, right? Modern conveniences, modern ways to so-called make you healthy. Don't buy it. It's not the truth. I have a client right now I've been working with for 6 months. He did an alarming amount of steroids. If you want to go to my website and watch this interview, I highly recommend it. Go to elitedynamiclife.com, check it out. And his name is Danny. You can't miss it. What happened to his body from the age of 18 to 35 years old is absolutely horrendous. He did an enormous amount of steroids, enormous amount of cocaine, and speed in that time period. Enough to kill a dozen men over and over again. It's a miracle he's alive. He had 2 heart attacks, he had cancer twice, and he had an aneurysm in his brain, a blood clot. The guy died several times, and they brought him back. It's a miracle. It took me 6 months of detoxifying his body with a proper hydration protocol to hydrate him at a cellular and molecular level, alkalize his body, detoxify his body, eliminate nutritional deficiencies, and coach him through the process. And what he told me recently when I interviewed him was that when I met him, his testicles were the size of raisins. And I said, "Are you serious?" He says, "Small raisin." And in just 6 months of detoxifying his body, they've tripled in size. This gentleman could not get an erection for a year straight. And when he did, he had to take 3 to 5 Viagras, which is very dangerous, just to get it to work so he can, make love to his wife. Now he's waking up every morning happy, if you know what I'm saying, and he can pleasure his wife whenever he wants to, and they're both much happier. And in that same time period, his health has gone through the roof. He says he has the energy of a 16-year-old. He's only 44 years old. But when he showed up, he felt like he was in his 80s. Go watch the testimony at elitedynamiclife.com. Just go to the results page. You'll find it right at the top. And in addition to that, if you want to try out what we're talking about here, guys, here's full disclosure. I'm using the Man's Edge from Neutronics Labs. I'm using the IGF-1 300,000 with Long Jack, also known as Tonkat Ali. And I'm using the 600,000 nanograms of IGF-1. This is my stack. This is the ultimate stack for Jimmy and the twins. I'm just going to say it. And guys, I put on almost 3/4 of an inch on my arms in less than 6 weeks. That is unheard of with a natural product. It's incredible. Bone density, muscle density through the roof. I have never felt better, Nick, in my life at 58 years old. That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
unheard of.
it is.
And you're just on it for a week. You
Mhm,
won't even feel it really starting to climax for about 90 days to 6 months is what I'm being told. I've
mhm.
only been on it for almost 2 months. And all I can tell you is since the day I started taking it, it's just getting better and better and better. Even my wife is noticing, wow, you're so much happier. You're so much more energetic, and it's the truth. And she also noticed what I mentioned earlier. The boys have been growing, people. Now, let me share this with you all so you really get this clear. For many decades, I've been telling males, grown up men, that their testicles are supposed to be the size of a couple of large chicken eggs from the farm. And it really hasn't registered. They just look at me like, really? Letting me know they're not that big, right? But now I'm saying something much more clearly, okay? I want you to pay attention to a 50-pound male dog. Just check out the testicles on this guy. Then look at a 100-pound dog. Check out the testicles on that guy. And you'll notice they're twice the size. Why? Because those are the factories for testosterone production. And that twice the size body needs twice the testosterone production. Now you look at a 400-pound boar, a male boar, way bigger, 4 times the size of that dog. Go look at a bull, 1,800-pound bull, big, massive bull, and they're just gigantic, right? Then go look at a rhinoceros, huge, massive testicles, okay? It's all relevant. So if you're a 150-pound man, healthy male, your testicles should be twice the size of a 75-pound dog. If you're 240-pound male, healthy, then your testicles should be twice the size of a 120-pound Rottweiler, okay? And I can tell you that is not the norm in this modern world, but it is natural. And I'm the most fanatical guy I know about my drinking and eating. And everybody knows it. They call me, extreme, and they call me radical Ron and all this stuff. And that's just the way I love to live because I love how I feel. Not being sick for 30 years, that is phenomenal. I have a 27-year-old son who hasn't been sick in 25 years. What is your health worth to you? You say you can't afford it. What do you mean you can't afford it? You can't afford to get sick. Can
Mhm.
you afford to be sick? This is a time in history when people in North America, especially, are guilty of taking better care of their home, their automobile, their motorcycle, their jet skis, their suits, their shoes, even their pets than their own bodies, because we've been wrapped up in this modern lifestyle of conveniences and fast food and everything else, and we're neglecting our own health. It's ludicrous. It is not wise thinking, is it, Nick?
Nope, it's not.
It's not convenient to drive by all the fast food restaurants if you're in a hurry, but it's also not convenient to be sick. So what you got to do is just what I do. If you don't have a wife or someone that can prep food for you, then you got to do it yourself. That's life. In the old days, there was no restaurants. People used to have to prepare food and pack it with them on the horse, right? They used to have to bring water with them on the horse. I bring water everywhere I go because there's no good water out there I can buy. I bring food everywhere I go because there's no good food out there. Even if you go to a high-class restaurant, they're not buying organic, wonderful food to make your meals, okay? It's commercially grown. It might taste good. It might be a nice experience. But if you actually did your due diligence and found out how unhealthy and toxic it is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? You can have dinner parties at your house. You can bring in organic food. You can do potlucks with your friends. Do you really need to go to a restaurant and eat a bunch of garbage to make yourself feel like crap for a week or two or destroy your health? Why? What has happened to humanity where people who want to live, who love life, who celebrate birthdays, who celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate, anniversaries. Women are always having showers for the babies and all that stuff. And what do human beings do in this modern world to celebrate life and living? They drink extra poison. They poison themselves extra with bad food. And then they complain about being fat and sick and tired. Doesn't make sense to me. So it's really simple. You're only one drink and one meal away from a perfect diet, a perfect lifestyle of drinking and eating. You're only one workout away from a whole new DMO, daily method of operation, where you get up in the morning, drink some clean water, get off your butt, do some exercise, and start your day off right. Why not start today? Changing your life. So I encourage you again, go to neutronicslabs.com, try out the Man's Edge and minimum the 300,000 with Long Jack. And if you want to really go for it, get the full stack I'm doing with the 600,000 in addition to that. You can get it for 60% off right now. And go to elitedynamiclife.com, check out our website. And on the first page, check out my podcast I did with Roy Jones Jr. And then right below that, there's a video I did called An Invitation to Extraordinary Health and Longevity. I crammed 30 years of experience into 30 minutes. Check that out. It'll help you out. It'll teach you a lot of things you might not know. And I'm sure it will encourage you to change the way you're thinking about drinking and eating.
Yeah, it will. It really will. And I'm so thankful for everything you taught me because my whole life has improved just by taking your advice, getting healthier, and just living the best life that I can. So thank you.
My pleasure.